Hmm, that was awkward. Oh man, yeah. Leroy. I don't see any sketching going on. Jim Cox bored or boring. Yeah, well, it was a last minute thing. And then I threw the stream up and then I had to go run and do something. So yeah. Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, actually I didn't expect anybody would actually be watching. I was gonna make a video for content, and I was like, why not do a live video? Because then it'll go right up on the stream. Right up on the YouTube page, so to speak. Ugh. So that is what's going on. All right, I hope this stays in focus. Been having a problem with my Logitech camera lately, so we'll see. Anyway, this is a commission I was doing for a guy on Facebook who collects art from various artists. He makes these kind of cool little posters of the artist's work that he grabs off a line and then do a little sketch, send it back to him. It sounded like fun, so I said I'd do it. But I've been working on it for a long time because I am busy. Hey, what's up, Brandon? Sweet, man. Yeah, good to see you. Haven't talked to you in a while. It's actually been I don't even think I've ever streamed live on my own channel except for when we were doing odd stuff on here. And then that changed a while ago. So, hope everybody can see this. It looks all right. So anyway, yeah, just a quick sketch of Logan, Wolverine. I didn't like doing a sketch this small. I didn't realize or see like how much detail he wanted me to put into it. And I'm actually not that good at drawing small, which is kind of odd because I have to draw comic panels for my book, but I'm much better drawing bigger. Brandon. Yeah, man. It's been a long time. How you been, man? I see you every once in a while on Facebook, even though I'm not on Facebook a lot, very much anymore. I see you on there. You know what? I'm not even using my new pens. That's why this isn't coming out good. All right. If Leroy is still watching, I'm sure he's thrilled that I'm doing a Marvel character. And I do a lot of things with him in mind. Kind of sounds creepy. Been good working on a lot. Been doing good. Like the Wolverine sketch. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's been a long week. For those that didn't know, I was on call most of last week. Had to miss or reschedule one of the odd stuff shows on Wednesday. Fortunately, the one on Friday came out. All right. I feel like I haven't streamed it forever. It's weird. What's up, Elliot? Hey, appreciate it, man. This is a commission that's long overdue that I'm trying to get done. And I was bored tonight. I was like, maybe I'll stream a little bit. There's pills for that if you're having trouble peeing. Did I say something about peeing? I hope not. I hope I'm not having trouble with that. I don't think I am. Oh, it's been a second since I actually sat down at my table and drew. It's like trying to get your hand back in the motion of it all. It's funny, I've seen a lot of artists or inkers talk about, throwing a line or pulling a line. Some guys can do, pull or throw either way and do a very good job at it. I'm I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm more comfortable with pulling. Like I have a straighter line when I do that, but sometimes I can actually throw it too. I don't know. It could just be the way I feel at the time. Oh, I had streamed and yes, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Elliot. And I'm one of those guys. Like if you've seen any of the Odd and Stuff show, like we talked to Dan, we had Dan Frega on our anniversary show not too long ago. And he's kind of like me. Like it takes us a while to get warmed up, and I don't do any warm up sketches. I just go right into it. I just kind of get warmed up on the page, but there's a I don't know, there's a certain feel to like the wrist movement that I have to get down, and sometimes it doesn't always come as quickly as I'd like, especially if it's been a second since I drew. And unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of time last week to draw. I was actually really busy. For those that don't know, I work for the city near where I'm at, and it's getting prime time summer. Well, I guess it's spring, but summer hours are coming in, and I run the wells. I'm in the well division, so when the water starts picking up, my job starts picking up. It's kind of what it is. Hey, what's up, Art Rich Studio? And by the way, Jim Cox, Elliot, Mortal V, I saw Leroy was here, Brandon. Appreciate you guys keeping me company. Like I said, I was a little bored. Just help put my daughter to sleep and my wife. She's got some things to do to work on this. And I was like, why not stream? What's up, Leandro? How's it going, brother? So I got my Starblades comic the other day. I was really impressed by it. I'm eager to see what other people think of it because I thought it was beautifully drawn by Kyle Ritter. Dude is man, talk about talent. That guy is very talented. Not only is he an awesome colorist, but man, his art is great too. It's crazy. Trying to keep this all in the screen for everybody. If I move it around, I apologize. It's not the greatest setup I have here because the camera kind of gets in the way of my vision. Yeah, I feel you. I watch a lot of streams when I'm at work. A lot of them are later at night. Like I don't get to catch a lot of Rob Arnold's streams because he streams like at I don't know 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock from where I'm at. So a lot of times I got to catch that on replay. Same thing with Bancroft. I try to catch as many streams as I can of his, but sometimes I gotta watch the rest of the show on replay. It's a good show though. I really like it. Entertaining guys. Ugh. So I'm planning on going through and doing a lot of black for his hair. Just so right now, I'm just throwing a bunch of lines to indicate where his hairline is, or we're gonna separate it. And I'm gonna come back through and darken that a lot of it out. I'll probably add stuff as I go, as I see it. I mean, it was as tight of a loose sketch, if that makes sense, as I could do, knowing that I was going to probably change a lot once I got into the inking stage. Especially with Wolverine's hair, it's just crazy. So like, there's not. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna take a lot of artistic liberties, I guess you could say, on the way his hair is done. It's not going to be like typically like how I would draw normal hair, especially like for a chick or something. Yeah, Bancroft is great. Found out about a lot of great artists there on the Yacht and Stuff channel. Oh yeah, and on our shows as well. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of really cool shows out there that I try to catch as many as I can, as regularly as I can. Let's see. Leandro, I thought Starblades was good. 8 out of 10. Yeah, hell yeah, it's a good score. I'd probably throw it around there too. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I usually like to go through and look at a lot of the art first. And that's mainly what I get into. So I'll check out the art aspect of it, and then I'll go back through and I'll read it. And I might not even read the whole thing. I just, I like story. Story's good, but it's not what sells me on a book. For me, it will always be the art. And I will be art first for most everything. Sorry if my voice sounds weird. I feel like it's allergies again. Jumping up. I'm having a hard time talking for some reason. Someone should really put together a TV guide of sorts for the YouTube channels and their times. It'll help a lot. I actually think K Manifesto on his show with Dojo Kun put together a TV guide, so to speak, of all the Comicsgate channels, dates and times, days, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know where to find it. I saw it posted somewhere, so I don't know if it's still up, but it's out there, which does come in handy. Because, like, for the odd stuff, we stream on Wednesdays and Fridays. Man, I keep going on the screen. Sorry. Bring this up a little, maybe. Like I said, if you can see the setup, this camera is like right in my face. But it's such a small picture. If I was to move it up, even zooming in, I was having a hard time getting the camera to focus. So we'll make it work. So for a lot of what I do when I sketch Wolverine's hair, I've done a few sketches of Wolverine over the years. I always like to keep it like, the original idea for Wolverine was, semi like, Wolfmanish, So I like to try to, people have made him kind of like more pretty over the years, or pretty, like more attractive, I guess you could say, with the way they've done his hair. I like to keep it like more feral. So I just think that's what it should be. And I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna throw a bunch of lines, and I'll go back and I'll throw a lot of black too, and cover a lot of this up. So a lot of this is just me kind of getting a feel, warming up, so to speak, a little bit too. So I caught a little bit of that Ethan on was it Dan Shaheen show last night. That was kind of it's kind of a shit show. I thought Ethan handled himself very well. Uh, I don't really have a lot of experience or even know really who this dude is that had him on, but fucking really came off like a jackass. I don't know. Maybe if you guys have more information, I don't know. What's up, Corey? Long time no see, man. Starblade's art top level. Pinups and line work in the back was a treat. Yeah, I really like that. I really like the fact that he put up the just black and whites. That especially with the line work he's got in that book, which is so nice. Kind of seeing it all come together like that was really cool. And I love black and white versions of anything. So for anybody out there that's doing a campaign, if you have some really, really killer art on your project, do a black and white line only version of it. Because I'll buy it in a heartbeat. I was telling Mark Polton that with Viking Wolf, and looks like he's got one on there. So from everything I'm hearing, he's going to do a line version of it, which I think is going to be awesome. Looking forward to that a lot. Surprised Corey came out of mourning long enough to stop by. And just as you were talking about, Berserk, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, there's a few artists over the last couple of years that we've kind of lost, and not that old either. It's kind of expected when someone in their 70s or 80s, an artist is getting up there or whatever. It's not. I mean, it's always tragic. I always hate seeing them. When people pass away. But when someone relatively young, like in their 50s, mid or late 50s, it's unexpected. Yeah. No, yeah, I'm gonna put a cigar in there or something. I got it worked in there. It's gonna go in there. It's coming out the other side of his face, so to speak. So I'm not throwing it where the lips are. But yeah, that's one of the things that really ticked me off about, when they start changing these characters and you start messing with the characteristics, like Wolverine smokes a cigar. And he just he's a character that doesn't give a fuck, And they want to pull that out of the comics for what reason? It, there if anyone's going to pick up smoking, it's not going to be from the comics. I guarantee it. You just go through the history of movies and TV and see how much they're pushing the cigarettes and smoking. And, if anyone's picking that shit up, it's going to be from a lot more than comics. I don't know if you guys can hear that upstairs. It sounds like my dog's going crazy, running across the floor. Hopefully, she doesn't wake up my daughter. Oh yeah, that's all good. Yep. It's gonna be in there. It's gonna be in there. My Joker? Yeah, I can see that. It's funny because this was something I did a while back, and, it was actually one of the first digital uh, got too much of a glare, it's not picking up. Anyway, it's one of the first digital drawings I did, and I did it all in Procreate when I first got my iPad, colored it up and everything. I basically just drew it because I wanted to mess around with the colors. So, and honestly, when I first started doing it, it wasn't really supposed to be the Joker. It was just a face. And then I got bored just drawing a face because I was like, why am I just going to color a face? So I made it the Joker, threw the smile on it, changed it up a little bit. So that's why it's got kind of a funky nose. I always liked it for like the color aspect of it, but I was never a big fan of capturing the characteristic of what the Joker was. But I can see that now. Let's call it the Shane Davis Joker. I like it. Excuse me. They were saying it. I feel like my allergies are kicking my ass again. Always right around this time of the year. Without fail. Uh, it's one of the Faber Castell. I always call it Castle, but it's Castell. This is the X. They're the smallest one. I like these a lot. I mean, you gotta be careful because they kind of smudge, but they're not that bad of a price. It can't, comes with all these sides, including a brush. I used Copics for a long time, but the thing about Copics is if you go to erase the original pencils, you kind of pull up that marker a little bit, or I don't know if it's a true marker or if it really is ink, but you pull it up. It doesn't happen with these. These will stay solid the entire time. My in-laws from Sparta, Michigan are here visiting from their winter house in Florida. Oh, nice. Yeah, I wish I had a winter house in Florida. That'd be nice. They're driving back to Sparta, Michigan in the morning. Oh, that's cool, man. It's funny. I hear there's a lot of people with ties to Michigan, which I think is pretty cool. It's an awesome state. I mean, summertime wise, beautiful up here. The scenery is great. Yeah, a ton of lakes. I mean, if you're into hunting and stuff, which I'm not really. I mean, I got nothing against it. Just I don't have the patience to go sit out in the woods. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I think the cool aspect of hunting for me would be chilling out in the woods and waiting and just enjoying nature. I used to live out when I was when I was in a band. I used to live out in a house. We rented this house that was on 154 acres from a guy who used to do a lot of hunting. Now, I never did a lot of hunting, but my drummer hunted quite a bit. So did a bunch of my friends, so they would come out and hunt all the time. But the thing I liked about that property was it was beautiful. I wasn't working at the time. I was in between jobs, so to speak. So I'd get up every morning and make some coffee, and I go sit out on the deck. They had this really it wasn't like a you know it was all right. It was an older house. I'll just say that it was an older house. So the thing that about that property that made it great was not the house, but it did have this really cool deck on it that overlooked the woods. And sitting out there on a summer morning, drinking some coffee, uh, taking in the world, taking in the day, looking out at nature was really cool. It's one thing I really miss about living out in the country. I like where I'm at now. I really do. Nice, quiet neighborhood. I think it's a great place for my daughter to grow up. But one day it'd be kind of cool to get back out in the neighborhood or the country. It's too humid in the summer to be in Florida for them. You mentioned Myers on Twitter. My sister-in-law was being followed twice by a creep. Yeah, even tried following her home 2 days later. In Michigan? Well, I'm sure in Michigan because I think Myers is more of a regional store. That's yeah, it's shitty, man. I'm glad that she had the self-awareness to be paying attention to that kind of stuff because the women that, so to speak, get in not into trouble, but they get messed with are the ones that don't pay attention. And that's a lot of these predatorial or whatever sex traffickers. Michigan's a really high sex traffic state, unfortunately. But they look for that. They look for victims that aren't paying attention to their surroundings, to try to prey on. So it's really good that she paid attention to that. He was at the same store following other girls, and again, yeah, Michigan. She was very yeah, yeah. That's awesome. I tell my wife that all the time. Especially with my daughter now. Uh, I make sure if we're out at the store, man, I watch my daughter like a hawk. I mean, there is nobody getting close to my daughter without me knowing it. And I don't care if it seems like it's overprotective, but I'm not letting anybody get near my baby girl. And you know what? Yeah, I would mess some people up if they try messing with my daughter. I mean, my wife too. Don't get me wrong, but my wife, I mean, she's paying attention to that stuff. But again, like I said, we live in a high kind of sex trafficked state. Unfortunately, it's really sad when you think about it. It's the numbers in Michigan. Just not too long ago, we had because my wife's a part of a what would you call it? It's not a neighborhood watch. It's just like a community messaging center, on Facebook. And so they'll always post something like, "Hey, beware! My daughter just got stopped by, or there's some dude in a van that tried to have my daughter jump in there or something like that." And we'll look at the street, and it's like 3 streets over. And we live in a fairly small town where you wouldn't really think that stuff. but we do live really close to the highway, so I mean, it could be, could just be right for that kind of stuff, prevalent in that area. It's just, it sucks that this day and age you gotta worry about that stuff, you know? And perspective all changes when I became a dad. Never used to worry about that. I mean, I was knew that stuff happened, but it's just, now you gotta pay attention. Sucks. Nowadays, the word overprotective doesn't exist. There's too many weirdos out there, and you can't trust anyone. Yeah. I mean, that's the exact way I look at it, Elliot. When it comes to my wife and daughter, there's no overprotecting. It's just straight up protecting, you know. Other than that, the rest of my experiences there have been fun. We grabbed the pontoon boats, head for the river, and go boating with a bunch of people, just barbecuing and sharing food. Yeah, man. When I was younger, we grew up on the lake. My grandfather had a lake house uh, in the family name, and they would come up, all the holidays and stuff, and we were just constantly out there. We were the family that would go out and jump in the lake in March, like do that polar bear swimming. I remember that when I was younger. As soon as I got a little bit older to kind of realize what the hell I was doing, I was like, yeah, I'm done with all that. I'm good. So yeah, in the Odd and Stuff show tomorrow, we got Jason Bascom coming on. I hope I pronounced that name right. I'm gonna have to ask him tomorrow. I think that's how you pronounce it, but you never know. I am horrible at pronouncing last names. We're gonna talk about Absolute book number 2. It seems to be doing really good. Yeah, yeah. You don't think about a lot when you're younger. I'll say that for sure. It's not until you start to get a little bit older that things start changing. Uh Jason, he's the artist. I think he's the artist, but he does that book Absolute. If you haven't seen it, it's in the Go right now. I think it's Absolute book 2 right now that he's doing. Book was cool. It was the book was actually recommended to me by Rick Sala. Rick Sala. He hit me up. He's like, "Hey, have you checked out this book?" And I was like, "I haven't." So I checked it out. He's like, "I think it'd be a really good addition to the Odd and Stuff guess." I was like, "You know what? You're right." Yeah, part two. Yep. So for a sketch like this, I'm just gonna be sticking with the small. I'm doing more air. Long Rick Nelson. Jerry, the time project I'm absolutely some of the best work. I mean, obviously, we can always get better at everything we do. But when you feel like you're producing your best work and it's I'm getting a lot of good feedback too. I'm really excited to show people. I'm hoping I can pick up the pace on it. It's just I like collaborating with people, and when someone hits me up and wants me to do like a poster or a cover, it's really hard for me to say no. Even though I should just say no and just work on the book. But I just enjoy it. I enjoy drawing other people's characters. When I was growing up, all my favorite artists would always draw each other's characters. Whether you're working at Marvel or Image, it's always really cool to see another artist take. I like when I see other people draw my character. I've seen, I know Mike McMahon is kind of working on a pinup for my book. I've seen some of that. That's really cool. Leandro did an awesome picture of mine and Sean's character Strees. That was really cool. I really like I'm not lying. Like I love seeing other people's takes on my character. How do they pose him? How do they draw him? There's no real wrong way to do it. I love seeing someone else's style come through. Do you have a production name yet? Are you going with Chocolate Starfish? Uh, I do have a production name. I've got an imprint name that I'm going to be going with. I've had it for a while. My wife actually came up with it, so at some point I'll reveal that. But I have been talking to Leroy about because the whole chocolate starfish thing caught on, and I want to kind of honor the chat with that because it is a fun thing. So I'm trying to work in something. I don't know exactly what yet, but there's gonna be something with the campaign or maybe in the comic itself that's gonna deal with the chocolate starfish. So keep your eye out for it. Jerry, I hear you. I got 5 projects all going on at the same time right now. Yeah, man, it can get overwhelming. Like my biggest thing is just finding time for everything. If I didn't work a 40-hour job, I'd probably be so much faster. I'd be doing so much more stuff too. It's just like, where's the time in the day, after you get home, you got shit you gotta be focusing on, family, you know, got a set schedule for sleep times for my daughter that we're working on, really getting that hammered in. And then it's to try to come down here and then draw, work on whatever project, the most important one being Reaper Destroyer. But then, yeah, it's what it is, But that's what I love about it. That's what I love about art. Keeping busy. It's a bitch when real life gets in the way of drawing, yeah. I still haven't been able to figure it out completely. I give major props to anybody that has balanced it, you know. I've talked to guys like Jesse Witchman, sorry for butchering that name. Even John Malin, and it's like finding that time, making sure you're setting that time. And just, yeah, I think it's just easier said than done. It's not like a will problem, because I have all the will in the world to work on my book, but it's just like legitimately like I have to spend time with my daughter. I cannot not spend time with my daughter. It's important to me to have that relationship. I gotta spend time with my wife as well. It's like, I gotta focus on my family as well as coming out and trying to make sure that I'm giving my best for the book. I've got the streams. Yeah, it's interesting. But you know what? I love a challenge. I really do. I love trying to figure this stuff out. And it'll all work out. Chauncey. Does anyone know how many pages Rob Liefeld says he wants to do a year? I think he said 100. He said it on his podcast a few times. Kids are always number one. Absolutely, Jerry. Absolutely. Yeah, I think Rob likes doing 100 pages a year, he said. So whatever projects that might be that he's working on, I think it's 100 pages that he likes to do a year. He considers that like a good number for the year. I could only dream about doing 100 pages a year. it's not even fathomable to me right now to do that many. You know what? Some of my favorite stuff to draw is smoke and clouds. I just really like the loose aspect, almost making the smoke itself a character. I watched one of Jim Lee's streams on Twitch a couple years back, and he said when he drew smoke, he would just close his eyes and literally just let his hands move, and whatever came out was just organically, the pattern. And I watched him do it a couple of times. I was like, man, it's amazing. So I tried that, and I've what I drew in pencil is just that. I just kind of, I don't necessarily close my eyes, but I just kind of take my mind, put it in a different place, and just let my hand just freely go. And whatever comes out, and it's like, all right, that's the pattern. I might spice it up a little bit once I get the inks on there, but it's just something very free about drawing smoke and clouds, and yeah, you kind of can't mess it up, and I think that's why I like it. I'm using it as a gauge. It's unfathomable to me also. Richard Friend mentioned in his Brett Booth video doing 52 pages every 6 months. Dude, those numbers are just I can't even handle that, honestly, when I think about it. But Brett Booth is a machine, dude. That guy. That guy can pump it out like no other. Brett's one of those guys that really he can draw fast, but his work doesn't suffer. You know, there are some guys you can really tell that they're speeding up. And granted, Brett gets to work with some fantastic inkers like Adelso Corona. And before that, Ratman he was with. And so you got to give it to the inker as well. Bringing that stuff together the way they do and making it look the way they do. But as good of an inker as you're going to be, you're still going to, unless the inker completely buries the artist, which has obviously happened over the years. Of course it has. Maybe not to Brett Booth, but to other artists where an inker comes on and you can tell it's the inker, it's not the artist. But unless a guy completely buries an artist, the inker is traditionally going to be pretty true to the pencils. And even through the nice, solid, finished inks, you're going to notice a rushed job, especially if the inker's rushing. Let's just say that the artist is taking forever to get the page out, and it gets the inker with even less time. That's why I have mad respect for inkers, because we think for artists, trying to get our work out on a deadline, which I've never really had to work on a deadline. So like I can't really speak for myself on it, like as an expert, but just what I've heard people say. But if an artist is really struggling on a deadline, it's going to get to the inker even later. And they have to turn it around then and make sure they get it out on time. And make it look finished and good, So mad respect for inkers. It's one of the reasons why I went out to find the best inker I could work with for my book. I could ink my book if I wanted to. It would take longer. But I wanted a nice seasoned veteran to work with. I figured one, he would make my stuff look as good as it ever has. And two, I could learn a lot from him. There's no better way to learn technique and all that stuff from watching someone ink over you and see what they do with your lines. It really does kind of open your eyes as to what you could be doing in the future. And I've learned so much just watching or seeing the pages of Joe Weems come back over my work. And he's done a great job of keeping my style. But the stuff that he adds, that's the kind of stuff that opens my eyes. I'm like, oh yeah, I see that. Makes sense. Like, so I'm so excited to learn from Weems in this process. It's not like he's, tutoring me or anything. It's just studying his stuff. Oh, what I miss here. But they don't have a full-time job on the side, so they can do that. Yeah, that's the thing. If I said it before that if I didn't have a full-time job, man, if my full-time job was doing comics, oh man, the things I could do. Oh shit, didn't mean to do that. Fuck it. That's not what I wanted. The fuck is the small? What? Whatever. I actually think this pack actually came with a couple ones. I was supposed to have a small one. Where'd it go? Got the extra small. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, these are my favorite pens right now to ink with. They come out like a really nice deep black. They do smudge. That's the only thing. Gotta be careful. Like if I was to do these Wolverine's claws here with a ruler, which I'm going to, you got to give it like a second or two before you pull the ruler away. Otherwise, you're gonna leave a nice smudge line. Learn that the hard way. But on the same token, you can create some kind of cool effects because I learned from doing that when I did that Reaper Destroyer sketch for the giveaways. I would put the ruler, and I'd do a nice thick line with one of these thicker pens, and then I'd purposely move it, and it kind of gave this like not necessarily like an ink wash feel, but kind of like a purposeful smudge. If that makes sense. I really thought it came out great. I like the added special effect that it had. So basically, I got a lot of crazy lines, mostly just texture for his hair. I'm gonna go in with a heavier brush and kind of just thicken up some stuff and make it less whippy. If you want a pen that gives you a really fine line, try the Pilot High-Tech C03 Gel Ink Pen. Huh. I found out about it from Willis Portaccio. Great thin line. I found them on Amazon. Really? Like a thinner line than the XS? Because that's pretty thin. I don't even know what this... I don't know if you can't really see it. But yeah, I'm always interested in trying new stuff, man. I really am. I like to see what other guys or other guys and gals, other artists use. I like the Pilot pens. I like the who does this one? Oh, this is Uniball. This is my favorite white gel pen. And this works really good with the Faber-Castell, whatever you pronounce that name. I noticed that it doesn't work as good with the Copics though. I was a little disappointed. Like it, as long as you get it right, that white gel pen with these will come through white, Whereas with the Copic, I believe it kind of gave it a little bit more of like a kind of like a gray tone. Not so much white anymore. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, Jerry. Yep. I think I saw Mark Sylvester use it one day, and my love affair with Mark. I was like, I gotta try it. My hero's using it, and I gotta try it. And I really dug it. And I've tried other gel pens since then, and none have really impressed me like that did. Thank you, Leandro. Appreciate it. It's funny when it comes to drawing, like you really do kind of discover your strength in certain areas. Like I can do a side profile pretty decently. I can do a 3/4 shot. Okay. It's not my strength. But when you're like doing something, you want to whip out something fast, you want to make it look good, you always fall to your strength. If you're working on a book, you're doing page layouts and all that kind of stuff. To me, that's when I experiment and really try to go more dynamic. But for commission, so to speak, I want to make sure I'm giving my best to the guy who's paying me money to do this. And I'll go right to what is the strongest, especially something small like this. When he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to send you something that's going to be like a couple inches, but 2 inches or 3 inches by 3 inches or whatever." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I could do it." Like I said, I'm not the greatest at drawing small, so I had to really kind of rack my brain on what I want to do. I'm like, all right, well, probably a face, probably some kind of profile. I didn't even know what I was going to do at first. He was like, pretty much like, draw whatever you want. He's like, just make it cool. And I hate it when people say that because sometimes I'm like, all right, that's cool. You get the freedom to just go nuts. But then you also get to the point where you're like, well, shit, my mind's blank. I really could use a little bit of direction. Tell me you want something, you know, specifically say it. Then I don't have to wonder. One of the things I hate about, well, it's not that I hate about spring, summer, but with my allergies, so to speak, it always comes about at nighttime. That's the hardest to, that's when I get the most stuffed up. It's like, well, shit, nighttime's when I do the show. It's when I do most of my talking. The perfect timing. With this, I'm not really trying to be too detailed. I'm just kind of naturally throwing some lines and tightening some things up, darkening it up, so to speak. The way I drew the head, it was kind of hard to really get the flow. Like if I had more space here, I would probably be able to tail off his hair, the more Wolverine kind of style. So pretty much you get the mutton chops, so to speak, and then the claws is going to really give it away, and obviously the stogie. But again, on the sketch, I don't want to do too crazy. I think I've already spent too much time on this. So let's do the claws. Oh, good. Ugh. Redefine these just a little bit better. Oh, man. It was a long week last week, and I am feeling it this week, that's for sure. That's good. Shows peeps you're about this art shite no matter your allergies. Yeah. Just gotta power through it, man. I just hate not being able to breathe. That's all. Which I'm sure, I don't think there's anybody out there that likes not being able to breathe. All right, let's see if I can do this without smudging it. So you're going to see what I'm saying here in a second. The only downfall. Let that dry for a second. There we go. You almost have to be really patient with that. I'm curious to any other artists out there. When you're doing ruler work, when you're drawing lines like that, does anybody else hold their breath? I do that all the time, and I don't know why I do it. Like, I just right before I start to go, like, I hold my breath sometimes. I don't know why I do it. I don't even know when I started doing it. Just one day I caught myself doing it, and I'm like, why am I holding my breath when I'm drawing these lines? Just did it again. Which when you already can't breathe, it's not smart. Not smart at all. Okay. All right. Good. I'm not the only one. Makes me feel better. I don't know why it is. I don't know if it's maybe the first time I started ever inking before I knew, corrections and stuff. Maybe I held my breath out of worry that I was going to mess up. Now I don't really mind too much, honestly. That's what whiteout's for. Various forms of whiteout. Once I actually took the time to do some research on actual inking and not just what I thought it was, changed my perspective on a lot of things. It made me actually really want to ink my own work. Yeah, I think I'm actually. That's number one. I think I'm gonna call this good. It's just a commission sketch, nothing special. I can sit here and add tiny little detail all day. It really kind of comes overboard at some point. EVS is described it being underwater, then coming up for. Oh, okay, good. I must have missed all that. That actually makes me feel good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, I gotta fix that little area right there. I'll do that with some whiteout. I'll probably give this a little extra time before I go through and erase a lot of stuff, and I might touch some stuff up before I send it to him. But I've got. Let's see, where's that? I gotta do another one for him. So I got this Batman. I'm gonna do Thursday if I have the time. I still gotta figure out what I want to do in this area. Originally, I was thinking about putting like the bat symbol, their signal, or usually when I draw Batman, I also a bunch of bats in there. I don't know. I still gotta noodle around with the face a little bit, but so I'm gonna work on that on Thursday. I'm trying to put more content on my actual channel than not just out and stuff all the time. But a lot of stuff I'm working on, I can't show. So it's not like I can work on it and stream. So this was a good opportunity to kind of get on and have some fun. It's an instinct to steady your hand. Try taking a deep breath before you move the pen and exhale as you're making the line. Works too, but doesn't leave you out of breath. I'm gonna have to try that because it's annoying. And I've done it for as long as I can remember. I've been drawing since I was 8 years old. But like I just at some point I stopped breathing. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try that. Jerry. But for everyone that stuck around and watched this, I really appreciate it. This is actually something I'm working on right now. It's just I'm not going to post this on social media anywhere. This is a page that I'm currently working on for Reaper Destroyer. It's almost done. A lot of little detail and stuff to go through and finish up, but I really liked it. I really liked the dynamic of it, especially the scene that it is. So for anybody that stuck around and watched this stream, there's a little bit of extra for you. So, all right. Well, tomorrow night at 9:00 over on Ot Stuff channel, we're gonna have on Jason Bascom. We've been talking about Absolute Book number 2, and open guests or Hangout Wednesday or whatever it is that we call it. It's open casting calls, so to speak. So, if somebody wants to come on the show and shoot the shit with us after we talk to Jason, it's an open forum. So, hit me up on Twitter if you want to come on, or you can shoot a request out in the chat. Would love to have people on and just hang out and talk about art or whatever. We don't want to shill so much on our streams as much as we have in the past. Just like to have some good conversation about comics and art on Wednesday shows. So, thank you, Chauncey. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, thank you for checking this out. Thank you for keeping me company as I was working on all this. There you go. There's a little bit of the whiteout taken care of. Boom. All right, guys. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Till then, everybody have a good one. And yeah, picture me naked. Talk to you later. Peace.